Back in football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, 100 grand, set it off, Chris, with me. Chris, you can tell we've been doing multiple videos today. How you doing?
Getting after it, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
game week, game number 2. All
Yeah.
right, on our journey, to our 20 game season, 21 hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
and going ahead and getting where we want to get to in this journey for the Dallas Cowboys 2024 season.
Yeah.
So we have our home opener. We get the New Orleans Saints coming to town, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to go 3 things we need to see.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go with that real quick, B. The first thing I want to be able to see, man, for us is to have the ability, man, first and foremost, not to fall for the window dressing on defense.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that comes into play, man, is that we've got a Shanahan tree coach in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the Kubiak cats.
Yeah.
One of the Kubiak.
When I think of Kubiak, the first name that comes to mind is Gary. But
that's his daddy. Yeah, but
not
I'm
him.
daddy.
Not him. But his last name is Kubiak.
Yeah, so it's either his grandson, his nephew, somebody that's a Kubiak that's coaching there. And when you come across that Kubiak tree, you go fall under the Shanahan tree. Shanahan tree is the rage of the NFL now. Everybody feels like, hey, if you fall under the Shanahan tree from the McVay and the Slovics and all these guys, you got some different things. But the biggest thing that they work with, man, is the window dressing. Mm-hmm. They get everything moving with the eye candy and things of that nature. And it causes a lot of teams a problem. But, as every great superhero has its, downfall or thing that hurts him, Superman's thing is if he gets around kryptonite, he usually has a hard time.
That's
right. One guy who, it's doomed for him. The one guy who's had a great success against the Shanahan tree happens to be Michael Androgynous Zimmer. We're going to change his name, because he's been galactic against the Shanahan offense, and he's had a really good tree against it. So I think Mike is really going to be preaching on staying disciplined. His big thing is discipline. I think with it being so early in his tenure here with the Cowboys, he might not have been able to put his full stamp on it. But because we do have Eric Kendricks there, that does help us have another coach on the field and teaching our young guys, hey, if you see this and you shift over here, you think you got the guy, you don't have this guy, you had that guy. And like my homeboy, because, we listen to all Cowboy content creators, Jesse Holly on DLLS, man. He says, people don't just get open. If you make a mistake in one of these Shanahan tree offenses, the guy don't get open. They get booty butt naked open. And I think that's going to be the goal, man, for us and not to have that happen to us.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And one thing that kind of brings me comfort with that is we saw the Cowboys be able to adjust to motion last week. We saw them able to cause motion to happen, which would end in the defense's favor. So I think that we can definitely capitalize on the Saints. And here's the next thing that I want to talk about with that Saints offense. The interior offensive line is where I think that we'll be able to succeed the most, because they have a highly drafted guy on the left side in Talisi Fuaga. And then they have a guy that they drafted 2 years ago on the right side in Trevor Penning. Both fairly good offensive linemen. Fuaga seemed to hold his own last week. Okay. So instead of trying to hit your head up against the wall on the edges, take advantage of their lesser guards. Because I know that the guard on the left side, he was a guy that kind of bounced around the league from Tennessee to Chicago. And I forget his name right now. It is Lucas Patrick.
Gotcha. Okay.
He can definitely be the weak link if you want to find a scrub in the offensive line. So if we want to compound off of last week where we had Michael rushing interior, we can do that again, and have Derek Carr seeing fits. And that will allow us to do one of the next things, which is limit Chris Olave. He had a very good week 1 against possibly an electric team. You know, you never know, but he get to play some gangsters on the opposing defense this week.
Yeah, I think he had a quiet week, but we know he can be an explosive piece for the Saints offense. I don't think he had like a real breakout game, but I definitely think
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying he had a pretty solid week. He was able to showcase himself well. Now of course we know who stirs the drinks in New Orleans. We know who that is. That's Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill. You know, like I said, lesser team that the Saints play. They play Carolina. You know, but you know who really stirs the drink is Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill. If we're able to make that Saints offense one-dimensional, we can take them out of the game by default. Because if the Saints are down, they're not going to run the ball as much.
Right. I think.
What are your thoughts on Kamara and or Hill?
Well, going back, I'm piggyback on two different things. I think, but they do go hand in hand. If you can stop the tandem of Hill and Kamara by getting what you said, the pressure interiorly to be able to stop the run, and then you would force them to have to throw the ball more, which falls right into our game plan. We want them to try to attack Diggs. We want them to try to attack Carson. We want them to try to be able to do those things. So you're going to have to stop. You're going to have to be the one thing that we haven't been great at and continue to get better at that, stopping the run. And if we can continue to be better at stopping the run and then putting the game in Derek Carr's hands that have to beat us, that puts us in an advantageous position. They put 40 on Carolina, which is hard because, you know, a team could put 40 up on a really, really bad team, and you don't really know who you're playing.
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, that just, it can be in pro, it can be in college. So we really don't know who the Saints are. But if we can exploit those different areas, limit Olave. See, I'm to the point of us shutting people out. I don't like saying shut people out because it's hard to do that in the NFL. But I think the one thing we have to do more, first and foremost, is be disciplined and not get caught up with the window dressing. If you do that, then everything snowballs. You're able to attack the interior defensive line. I think Fuaga's got back pain. I think you're going to be able to get pressure in different areas. You stop the run game with Kamara and with Taysom Hill. You put the game in Derek Carr's hands. He will run. He's not a scrambler like Watson, you know, or anybody like that. So he's going to run. He's just not going to get, you know, nifty in the open field. So I think that swings way over into our favor of us winning this football game, you know, for me on that part. So those are the things they kind of all wrap hand in hand. Pressure.
Absolutely. And for what it's worth, you mentioned Fuaga's back, man. If he's out, that changes the whole thing. We are attacking that backup.
Yeah, you're going to him full strength, and that's like 2 weeks in a row when we turned around and had a limited offensive line, and we took advantage of it. What you should do, because if it was on our side of the fence, they do it.
They would do the same thing.
So that's what we want to be able to do. So if we're looking at what we need to see happen on this side, offensively, what do I need to have offensively to have happen? What do I need now?
So Chris, this is gonna be a separate video for y'all. But at this point, probably like 15 minutes ago, Chris and I were talking about how I needed to see more from the wide receiver 3, right? And that becomes even more important because your team's second most important receiving target, Jake Ferguson, is going to be out this week. And thankfully, it's not a serious injury. It's something that he'll be able to manage week by week. Hopefully come back in week 3 and go on from there. But I need to see our wide receiver 3 kind of emerge, because I'm not at the point where I feel comfortable letting Lou Schoonmaker step up and be that guy just yet. You don't even know if he can be, right?
There you go. That's the part that I need. It's not that I don't feel comfortable. I just need him to do it. Son, there comes a time, for every kid, this is his time. They usually want to say year 3, you want him to be that guy, but I need to see the progression from year one into year two of being a productive football player. You know, we got that from Mozzie last week. You know, Mozzie wasn't great, but Mozzie wasn't terrible. He was showing a progression. I need that this week from Luke Schoonmaker. This week, I need Luke Schoonmaker to live up to that second-round pedigree grade. You know, all the Michigan blue and all that good old stuff. I need that to come forth. I need him to play. I need him to be a productive member of society this week. Yeah. I need to feel that if I ask him to make a block, he's gonna make a block. If I put him in a pass pattern across the seam, he can make a catch or two. I don't need him to be start a game. I don't expect him to be third, but I do need him to be productive. That's what I need from him.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, I also need our offensive line to be able to continue to hold up. You know, we saw where Tyler Guyton, he was baptized by fire last week, and it came out mad, right?
Yeah.
Now, the Saints don't necessarily have as dominant of a single player as Myles Garrett, but I think that they do well with their combination of Cam Jordan and Brian Brees. Those two are generally beside each other, and let's say they're on the right, on the left, or whatever. Those two guys are generally beside each other to create compound pressure.
Right.
Now, Brees was on the injury report with an illness, but you know he's more than likely going to play.
Okay.
So whatever side they're on, whether it's the left against Guyton and Smith, or on the right against Steele and Martin, I need to keep tabs on where those two are at all time, because I think that they can cause a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a valid point, and definitely what we're looking at. You want to be able to continue the maturation and the cohesiveness of this offensive line. Yeah. I need us to be strong in different areas. I think they're pretty good up the middle. But I think, like you said, the combination of Brees and Cam Jordan are formidable. Yes. I also believe what we got to be able to end up having is that steady diet of the offensive line getting better. But I also feel like because they may be injured somewhat in the secondary, let's attack them where they're weakest at. So
how do you do that?
Well, because I think you have their number one corner, right? Marshawn Lattimore is not playing. So Marshawn Lattimore, when healthy, let's be honest, he's a second team All-Pro. He's a formidable guy. He can play. But since he won't be here, then I need to play the game we all love to play. Let's say it together, family. Find the scrub. And let's go at it. And there's no better thing than to have my newly minted quarterback and my newly minted number one wide receiver go have a big day, you know, attacking that Saints defense and going to work. So find the scrub, move CD around the formation like we normally do. Yeah. And then that may able to open up a little bit more for Tolbert, maybe, Jalen Brooks, and, just move it around and, have the head spin a little bit and, kind of get the ball down the field. And then,
I'm glad that you worded it that way. I'm glad that you worded it that way, Chris. Moving Lamb around to open up things for Tolbert or Brooks or Turpin. Insert name here, right? Yes. I think that is more necessary this week because you don't have your second overall, your second option. You don't have Jake Ferguson there. So being able to get Lamb open in creative ways is going to be very important.
Right. But like last week, Jake had 5 targets. Probably had maybe 7 to 8 if he had not gotten hurt. And then I think if you're able to, spread those 8 amongst different people, 2 to 3 more, 2 to 3 maybe Schoonmaker, maybe 3 or 4 to Tolbert, up Lambs from 10 to maybe 15, but then add, a little secret weapon, maybe a little Hunter Lipke, maybe a little Kavontae Turpin out the backfield, things of that nature, just to keep them off balance, but just to keep their head spinning. I think that's the number one goal for us this week. Absolutely,
man. Absolutely. And one thing that I think will definitely help us is, to do those things, to keep the defenses on their heels. I need to see some juice in the running game.
Absolutely.
To see some juice in the running game.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
While it was sustainable last week, I need to see something that gives the defense and Cowboys fans, a reason to bat your eyes a little bit. Have that bead of sweat going down your forehead.
Yeah. Or that sense of sitting on the edge of your seat in the hopes of something big happening in the running game.
Yes.
Because last week and we really banged on the running game, but they did go up against a very, very good defense. Sure. This week we're going up against a defense we're really not sure about because they played the Panthers last week. You know what I'm saying? So that's and that's my hometown, man. But man, they're bad, bro. They're really, really bad, man. So
let me ask you that, Chris. Let me ask you that. The Saints had a great game.
Absolutely. 40 points is a lot to put up on anybody.
Do you think that they're legit?
They're legitimately on the schedule. I'm not overlooking anybody. I don't care. My days of sitting up and say, "Oh, they're this," because last year around this time we were going to Arizona and we had already chalked that up as a win.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? See, I'm not making same mistakes from years gone by. I'm gonna say they're on the schedule. They get paid like we get paid. Let's go bust them in the mouth. That's what I'm expecting. So
perfect,
that's what I'm looking. Now, do I think that do we it might and got a little Chase Young on the Saints too. Now you got to remember that they do have Chase Young. So yeah. Hey, listen. I understand. He's on the payroll. He's played in this league. He's made plays. Maybe new scenery, new territory, maybe it will help him. So, like I said, I'm not going to discount them as being absolute scrubs until the clock strikes, has all zeros in the fourth quarter and we're winning. Then I'll go ahead and crown them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna crown them scrubs if they lose. So it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Anything else you want to see or need to see from this game?
No, man. I just need us. The ultimate thing is continue to process the offensive line. We keep working different things into the offense that makes us, more well-rounded. Man, I need a dub. That's what I need to see.
Yes, sir. Gotta go 1-0 every week, man.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for the score? Give me a score prediction there, Brandon.
I am going to say, let's see, 36-17. Cowboys.
36-17. So you expecting Brandon Aubrey to get some work, huh?
Oh yeah. I believe that.
Okay.
I think that they've learned the lesson and they just want to take the points. And a lot of times they allow their guys to get it working.
The weapon you're like the weapon of Aubrey to go to work.
That's right.
So I like that. I think I'm gonna go a little bit more lopsided. Since they've only literally their defense has only given up 10 points, and I don't think this offense is capable of doing that. So I'm gonna go more like a 38-7. 38-7 Dallas. And a totally dismantling of the Saints and just showing sound discipline on defense and coming away with a dub, man. 38-17 Dallas, man.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. If we limit them to only 7 points after they had a trouncing of Carolina, great.
Yeah. And then that will also gauge what we expect when we play Carolina. Because we don't think in that situation.
You're right about that.
So
you still got to talk about that game.
Yeah, that's down the road. But yeah, man. Yo, man, 19 minutes, and I got to get dressed because I got to go watch the Virginia Tech Hokies play ODU here in Virginia, in Norfolk, man. And if I ain't dressed in about an hour, my wife is going to kill me, man. So if you spent this much time you gave us 20 minutes on a Saturday when college football is going around and you clicked on the video, if you clicked on it right, you might as well like it. And if you like it, you might as well share it. And if you're going to go ahead and share it, your homeboy going to say, oh, you subscribe. So gather to those three, man. Get us into the currency. Get us into the atmosphere. We're trying to be in there with you, man. We're trying to do different things to keep ourselves consistent. We will be more consistent. My schedule's changing. The only reason we're not consistent is me. It's never B. It's always me, okay? It's always me. So
I'm not gonna say all that.
Yeah, now it's most of the time it is me. I'm gonna take the blame. So check this out, man. I'm that sidekick, man. I'm that dude, man. salsa, man, I'm already in the room with the salsa. I got you, my boy. I ain't gonna let you go low, man. I'm your guy, man. I'm your man, Set It Off Chris, and this is my main dude, Brandon, man. And we will forever together be Frankly Football. And until next time,
Peace.